Today we're going to find angles of a right triangle using trig ratios. Find the value of angle A and round the answer to nearest degree. So that means in our final answer there will be no decimal, just a whole number. So let's look at the triangle. We are trying to find angle A, so that will be our angle of reference as well. And let's label the sides. So the side across from it is the opposite, or O, and the side right next to angle A is the adjacent side, or just plain A. Now let's look at SOHCAHTOA. In our triangle, we are given the side A and the side O. So where can you find that? Right over here, the O and the A, which means we are going to be using tan. So start out by writing tan, and then always write the angle beside it. In this case, it's angle A, is equal to, well, O comes first, so that goes on top. A comes second, that goes at the bottom. Now let's fill in with numbers. Tan of A is equal to, O happens to be 8, so I'm going to write 8 on top. And A, the adjacent side, is 5, so I'm going to write 5 at the bottom. Now, this is where it gets different. Because we're finding angles, we are not going to cross multiply. Okay, so cross multiplying is for sides, but angles, we do something completely different. So to find angle A, we're going to write angle A is equal to, and here we're going to write tan inverse of bracket 8 divided by 5. Now you might be confused about tan inverse. What is that? Well, tan inverse is basically the opposite of tan, and we use that to find angles. Now on your calculator, you will see the second button, so you would have to press that and the tan button. So let me show you that on a calculator. Notice tan inverse is right on top of the tan button. So to access that function, you have to press the second button and then the tan button to get tan inverse. So now let's try doing that to solve our question. Now, depending on your calculator, you might have to do tan inverse first and then 8 divided by 5 in brackets, or 8 divided by 5 in brackets and tan of inverse. But when you do that, your answer should be about 57.99 degrees. But the question said to the nearest degree, so our final answer is angle A is equal to 58 degrees. Our second question says, find the value of angle B and round to the nearest degree. I'm going to start off by writing SOHCAHTOA, and the angle we're looking at is angle B, so that will be our reference angle. Now, if you look at the triangle, they've given you 1, 2, and 3 sides. So out of these 3 sides, which one are you going to choose to actually solve for B? This can look very daunting. But don't worry, it's actually a good thing. Because you've been given 3 sides, you have the power to choose. So you choose which 2 sides you will use for the calculations. For example, you might choose this side, the adjacent, and the hypotenuse. In this case, you would actually use ka for cosine. Or you can also use the hypotenuse side and the opposite side. So looking at SOHCAHTOA, you're going to use so, meaning sine. Or you also have a choice to use the adjacent side and the opposite side, in which case you will use TOA, T for tan. Now in my case, I'm actually going to end up using, let's say, adjacent side and the hypotenuse side, meaning I'm going to use ka and C for cos. So I'm going to start out by writing cos, and then write the angle, which happens to be B, is equal to, now I'm going to go straight to it. Adjacent side is 15, so I'm going to write 15 on top, and the hypotenuse side is 17, so I'm going to write 17 at the bottom. Now, you cannot cross multiply. We only do that for sides, but for angles, we're not using cross multiplication. So instead, we are going to write angle B is equal to cos inverse, and then in brackets, 15 divided by 17. So let's calculate cos inverse of 15 divided by 17. And when you do that, your angle B should equal to 28 degrees. And that is your final answer. Our last question does not have a diagram, so we are going to have to read the information and make a right triangle ourselves. So in triangle DEF, find angle F to the nearest degree. If DE is equal to 15 centimeters, DF is equal to 18 centimeters, and angle E is equal to 90 degrees. So I'm going to start off by making a right triangle. And let's put that 90 degree right here to make it a right angle triangle. On top, that will be angle D, and then angle E, and then angle F. Now, notice it said angle E has to be 90 degrees, which makes sense. Our angle E is 90 degrees. So now let's label the sides. So side DE is 15 centimeters, so from D to E, that's 15 centimeters. And side DF, so from D to F, that side is going to be 18 centimeters. Now our angle of reference, or the angle we're trying to find, is angle F. So I'm going to start out by again writing SOHCAHTOA so I don't forget it. And now I'm going to label the sides according to angle F. So the side opposite is the O, which is 15. The side across from the 90 degree is always your hypotenuse. So I've been given the side O and side H. So looking at SOHCAHTOA, O and H are right here, meaning I'm going to have to use sine. So start out by writing sine, and then we are going to write F is equal to, well, O, the opposite side is 15, so I'm going to write 15 on top. And the hypotenuse H is 18 centimeters, so I'm going to write 18 at the bottom. By now, you know that we are not going to cross multiply. Instead, we're going to write angle F is equal to sine inverse bracket 15 divided by 18. And when you calculate this, your angle F should equal to 56 degrees.